Thinking about buying a home but not sure how much you can afford? Hi, I'm Angela Bellmeister, real estate broker with Caldwell Banker Legacy, and today I'm joined by mortgage expert Elizabeth Eodaly from Guild Mortgage, who's here to break down everything you need to know about getting pre-qualified before you start house hunting. So what is mortgage pre-approval and why is it important?
Okay, well, it'd be like going out and buying a car without knowing the payment. So it's kind of like that. So most people look at homes first and they go, I'm going to buy that house, and then they get their financing done afterwards. But I think it's better to get pre-approved first. And what pre-approval is when someone goes to a loan officer and fills out an application, runs credit, and that loan officer reviews their income, assets, credit scores, and then we can issue a pre-approval letter, or a pre-qualification letter technically. A pre-approval is when the underwriter has actually seen the loan, then it is now approved, initially approved, so it's a little bit different.
Okay. So what documents or information should the buyer have ready to go?
Okay, so there's two types of buyers generally. There's wage earners, someone who has W-2s, pay stubs, uses those to file their taxes, and then self-employed people. They're usually one or the other. The self-employed borrower will need 2 years worth of tax returns and will use whatever's in there to qualify that person.
Okay, do you look at that stage, you're looking at debt to income ratio and credit scores and things like that as well?
So every loan officer does it a little bit differently, and here's how I do it. So I'm a fan of Excel. I don't know if you use that program very much. I love it, it's great. It makes my work a lot easier. And for the buyer too, because I can figure out their numbers very quickly. So what I do is I ask them about income and calculate their income. Then I will determine what their debt is just by asking the questions, what their minimum payments are of what would be on the credit report only. Then we ask them if they know their credit scores, because so many different credit cards and Credit Karma and all these different places already offer them their scores. Most people actually know what their scores are generally these days. And then we ask them how much they have in savings. Those four things can actually help us establish what that person might qualify for initially. And then once we run those numbers, I'll have them do the application if they think it's something that's worth doing. If they feel like they're ready, if they are in a good place for that, or if they need help, then we'll help them with whatever part of it is needed.
Okay. And how is pre-approval different from pre-qualification? We touched on this a little bit earlier, but...
Okay, yeah, let me define that a little bit. So, when a loan officer gives a pre-approval letter, it's really a pre-qualification. It means that we've looked at all these things and we've given our stamp of approval. But a true approval or conditional approval comes from the underwriter. The underwriter is actually the person who's the final say. So I like to think of the loan officer as the coach, the main coach, and the underwriter is the referee. Okay? So I think that's a nice comparison. And so the pre-approval, the true pre-approval will come from the underwriter. We give the pre-qualification, but good loan officers are able to close loans. You really don't have very much fallout for that. Unless, the buyer does something really crazy, like quit their job.
So the process would be, somebody comes to me and say, hey, I really want to buy this house that I just saw on Zillow. I'm like, hey, did you talk to your mortgage broker yet? No, I have not, but I want to buy this $500,000 house. I'm like, well, let's talk to Elizabeth first. So I send them to you. Right. And then what happens?
And then we usually start with a conversation on the phone, or they come in to visit, and we ask those four questions. We kind of do some predetermining figures just to see if they're comfortable. And then we proceed with an application. It can be done online, it can be done in person, it can be done over the phone, through Zoom. There's lots of different ways, whatever each person is most comfortable with. From there, they will upload and deliver their documents to us so we can confirm all the information within. And then we will issue a pre-approval letter at that point.
And then they can come back to me and we can go shopping.
Yeah, and then we send a pre-approval letter out to you and the buyer as well, so everyone's kind of on the same page. And then when you find them a house, we will customize that pre-approval to match with your offer.
Okay, perfect. All right. And so what can buyers do if they don't qualify right away?
Here's my first go-to, and these are the steps in the order that I think are most effective. Number one, we're going to look at someone's debt first. That's an easier path of least resistance. If we can pay off some smaller debts, we'll do that if we're just a little bit of a discrepancy there. So we'll do that first. If we have to pay some bigger debt off, or we have to wait a while before they can do that, then that's what we'll do. And that's what the buyer has to do. To to get to that purchase price, or we just reduce the purchase price. It's that simple. If it's a credit issue, we have something called a simulator. So, for example, if someone has low credit scores, which does happen quite a bit, we can actually take that credit report. It enables us to say, if we add another credit line, if we pay this off, if we do these types of things, we can predetermine what future scores could be with those changes. Then we will share that with the buyer. They will go do those things, perform those details, and be buyer ready. And they can be happening within 30 days.
Wonderful. So what are some common myths and mistakes that buyers make about pre-approval?
Okay, well, just circling back to this thing, like what happens if someone doesn't qualify. Most buyers think that if they put more money down, that will be the most effective way to get to a higher purchase price. It's actually not true. You actually reducing debt is more powerful dollar for dollar than having more income or having more down payment. So I think that that's a misnomer. You have to have twice as much income compared to the debt that you're paying off. Does that make sense?
Okay, so that has to do with your debt to income ratio.
Yes, correct? Yes. So for every $100 worth of debt, a borrower has to have $200 worth of income.
Okay.
Minimally to offset that.
Gotcha.
So that's why dollar for dollar, it's cheaper to pay off debt than it is to actually increase your income.
And does that improve the rate that you're able to get as well?
Yes, it's definitely an improvement. So the better your scores are, the better the risk is for the bank, and the better your rates are overall.
Great.
So yeah.
All right. And for bonus question, what are the rates this week?
It's like Jeopardy here. Okay. So rates this week, I would say we actually had a nice little dip yesterday, which is really cool. So I would say we're locking a loan today at 6.5% and up to 7%, just depending on down payments, program, credit score, and all the different variables. There's about 6 of them.
Awesome. If this was helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future real estate information. And thanks again to Elizabeth for her knowledge and her time. If you're ready to get pre-approval or just want to talk about your mortgage options, give her a call.
Thank you so much. Angela, I really appreciate you allowing me to do this.
We always have fun.
Yes, we do.